it's CSEdWeek.com here, and welcome to the four, of doing our of code projects, for CSEdWeek. So that's exciting, yay! I'm really tired right now, so you're gonna deal with me and my sleepiness, and I was just also watching the B movie, so fun times. Yeah, welcome, we're gonna be making a Pokemon app thing. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm like really tired. I just woke up, don't blame me. Okay, welcome to Make School. Programming is first superpower and you're going to be a superhero. I am under 13. A good fact about me. Okay, I know the interface already because it's like because I know how to computer. Next. Sure. Yep. Okay, how does this tutorial work? We set up a turn-based game, start with creating critter to compete with other critters, critter knows moves, it's up to you to train them. When you use them using code, this sounds fun. Can I make, like, can I use a custom image? I think, wait, I want to be able to use a custom image, because I know exactly what I want to do. Let's quickly look over the code that has been provided to start with the critter. Nickname, Cloud. Boy, no. There. Much better. The initialize function, this is the first initial piece of code that the computer will automatically run when you press the run button. Their lines are like, that's a quote. Nice. Not a quote. A comment. Yeah. Name your critter. Put a different thing. Nice. Importance of variables. It was set to cloud and we changed it. Because now, yeah. Variables. Okay, let's read this. Let's actually like read the instructions instead of mumbling. Okay. Let's quickly look over the code. I've already done that part. Instead of initialize, we are storing a string and a nickname variable. String is just a fancy way of saying a sequence of letters. A string is always surrounded by a pair of quotation marks. It can be as short as A or as long as the complete works of Shakespeare. Change Cloud to a new nickname for your critter and run the code to make sure it worked. Run. iPhone simulator. Yay. Loading. Berry Bee. Yay! I do get to add a custom image. I'm so happy! iPhone simulator. Nice. Okay. Variable is a place to store information to be used in code. Once you save information to a variable, you can come back to it later. You can read the information, you can manipulate it, and you can even replace it. Variables are a powerful tool. I'm just tapping my tablet pen on the desk while I say this. Okay. We originally had a variable with a line, nickname equals Cloud. We took Cloud and saved it to the nickname variable. By changing the nickname to something else, you changed what was stored in the nickname variable. Once you did that, the new name has showed up on screen. Your critter has a lot of variables. It has variables for its health, its animations, its level, and a whole bunch of other things the game needs to keep track of. Let's go to the next tape. You can put an element type, fun. Okay. In Swift, that's I guess the language we're using. Never used Swift, but it looks like a lot of other languages, so we're cool. Functions are declared like this. Look familiar, that's how an initialize function is declared. Functions start off with the keyword func. This tells the computer that you want to declare a new function. Then you provide a function name. In this example, it's function name. Great. In your code, the function name is initialize. After the function name comes a pair of parentheses. Last comes the open and closed curly braces. Anything in between those two curly braces is a part of the function definition. Wow. Okay. So let's take a look at the code in the setup critter stats function. It is formatted just like the initialize function. It begins with the keyword func, and it's followed by the function name, setup critter stats, and a set of parentheses. We'll define two different variables, critters my element and my level. So right now my element is set to none. Fire. So it has to either be fire, leaf, or water. Really? Can I put another? Let's just, I guess, put leaf. V-movie, that's a good function. Or water. Now run the code and say changes. Nope. It's the same. Great. How to make a function? Unless the function is called. Someone needs to use it. Interesting information setup critter stats. Without calling the function first, we don't see any changes in the simulator. Am I supposed to change my level? No, okay. Even the setup critter stats function is always been declared underneath the initialize function, so until we actually call it, that it gets right. Cool. So we're gonna set up the critter stats. Nice to know. Okay, cool. No, there we go. Now run my code. What changed? The loading screen is compiling. Well, that's new. That changed. Okay, I'm just going to read the rest of the instructions because this is compiling apparently. If you set up a leaf element critter, looks like there might be an error in your code. Fun. Is that better? Let's run it again. Loading. Fun time. No! It has a form. I don't like that. I want to change it. I want it to be have a different form. If you set up a leaf element critter, you get entered a competition against a fire element critter. What happens if you change your critter to a different element? For example, it's setting my element to fire, now I'm putting it to water. Changing what changes both what our critter looks like and what our opponent looks like. This happens because the game code reads the my element variable to help decide how it was set for competition. Try it out and choose which critter you want to use. Okay, but like, can I change what they look like? I want it to look like Berry B. Okay. Both 1 and 5. Okay, we also want to make sure we are doing the competition with a critter that is prepared. The critter is too weak to compete. We need to tune to the critters level from 1 to 5. Both 1 to 5 are integers, which means they are whole numbers. Just like a string, an integer is a way for the computer to represent information. You can change the critters level from 1 to 5 by changing the line. Or 1 to 80. Haha. I'm gonna do this. Me teaching it to Dash. It's pretty great to have our critter all set up. Well, let's start off. We need to teach it moves. So let's start off with Dash, a simple move. There are different forms of functions that you will encounter in the programming. We're going to take a look at 2 of them while you code your critters a Dash. Functions that automatically get called when something happens that you have to fill in, and functions that have already been filled in for you and you have to call when something happens. Functions of the first kinds are handlers. An app has a number of unique handlers to handle a specific situation. A touch handler handles your touches when you touch the screen. It calls the touch handler function and runs whatever code is in that function. There are functions you don't need to call yourself. They will automatically get called for you when the situation arises. You just need to fill in the function's body. Functions of the second kind come from libraries. Other programmers write code that they put in a library. You can add libraries to your code so you don't have to rewrite code that someone else already wrote. There are functions you don't need to write yourself. Someone already wrote it for you, so you just need to call it when the situation arises. So we're going to implement a handler that handles the situation of the dash button being pressed. When someone pushes the dash button handler will automatically get called. Okay, listen. I just think like this is the dash button. This is the dash button. Let's actually try that again because I just remember my dash. How do you? SMH. This one is my dash. Just to zoom in. Okay. Okay. The dash, we're going to implement a handler that handles the situation of the dash button being pressed. When someone presses the dash button handler will automatically get called. In filling, you just keep saying dash button. This is the dash button. That's the dash button to me. I'm going. Add the following code below between dash button pressed and dash button pressed. This code may look familiar. By dash button. Let's go above this. Let's go above this. Okay, so this is going to be func dash button press. Do this. Curly braces. Curly braces. I did it. Wow. Versions of the root of 3. Your critter has a set of moves that is move library moves that someone else coded for you. You need to call these moves at the right time so that your critter can win the competition. The function perform dash comes from the move library. We want dash to be performed when someone presses a dash button. Can you figure out how to make that happen? You need to call the perform dash function inside your dash button handler. Inside the dash button press function, add perform dash. So perform dash. Magic. This is what your dash button press function should look like. Wow. Now that your critter knows when to dash, run the code and see if you can win your first competition. Oh boy. Very image inspect. We're gonna do some hacking. Yeah, this is actually like a thing. I can't make it very B. We'll do that to some other website. We'll do that next time. We'll make something very B, I promise. And compiling. I made a mistake somehow. Did I spell farm wrong? Probably. Form. Yeah, I spelled it wrong. I put it's preform. Better. Loading. Nice. Compiling. And level 80. Oh, Phoenix is level 82. Oh boy. Dash. Very B used dash. Phoenix used dash. Very B used dash. Okay, we need to add this using. Let's change it. Hold on. I need to get something out of the conversation. I'm still missing earlier. Yeah. This is gonna be. Can this be my name? I don't know. I want to see what would happen. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit. I'm just having fun, honestly. Like that. This is. You can do anything. Oh God. Trailer for the B movie. It also gets progressively louder. Activity time. I'm active. I'm here. I think I made it too. I think it's too long. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens if I do it though. No, it just doesn't show up. It's too long. Oh, Shrek. I'm bored. I don't know. I can't think of names right now, so it's gonna be called Shrek. Let's see if we can win the first competition. Oh my God! It worked. It works. It works. It's beautiful. It's too many. Beautiful. Here's dash. Choose a move. Dash. I did it. I won the round. Go on to the next step. Nice. I just closed my webcam. I hope I'm still on camera. That's just. Yay! I'm still here. Hi. As you win your first competition, the feature creature is an elemental move. The elemental move will help your critter take advantage of the strengths it has over other critters with different elements. You have to be careful. Each critter is susceptible to only one kind of element move. And in rock, paper, scissors, rock is damaged by paper, but not damaged by scissors. Similarly, fire element creatures are damaged by water moves, but a leaf elemental move won't do anything. So, revert deck to dash. The opponent is not weak to its elemental. You can check what element damage our opponent with. Element my opponent is weak against. If our critter is comparing a fire element critter is competing against a fire element critter, the variable element my opponent is weak against would be set to water. If our critter's variable my element is also equal to water, then we want to use its elemental move. Otherwise, we want to use a dash move. Add the following code. We add this between here. Nice. Cool. Fun time. So this may look familiar to you. We're declaring a new function, and we're using something new, an if-then function. Wow. If-then else statements. If-then else statements allow our code to react to things. In this case, we only want to use our elemental move if the opponent is damaged by it. If we accidentally use it on an opponent that was not damaged by it, our critter's move will miss, and nothing will happen. An if-else statement looks like this. If-else. The part to pay attention to here is the statement. The statement can be any sort of comparison. We can use greater than and less than to compare numbers. In our function, we are using equal to equals to check if two things are the same. Element my opponent is weak against is the critter element that your opponent is weak to. My element is your critter element. There with equals is essentially asking, is element my opponent is weak against equal to my element? If the two are equal, your critter will perform an elemental move. The code inside the first pair of curly brackets before the else. If they are not, your critter will dash. Since the code in the curly brackets after the else. Since according to rules, it would miss its move if it tries to use an elemental. Now that your critter knows its elemental move, run the code and see if you can win the second round. Be careful, your opponent is a much higher level than you this time. Let's see if that's a true fact. Because I set my level higher than I was supposed to. No, it's level 160. Wow. Element. Use elemental. It's super effective. Shrek use elemental. Phoenix use dash. Oh boy, it still hurts me, but I'm gonna elemental. Shrek used elemental. It's super effective. Nice. I did it. I win. 2 rounds down and 1 to go. This time your critter will be facing a critter that has an elemental advantage over it. You will not be able to rely on your elemental move to win. Your critter will be using the swipe move. Let's teach your critter how to use a swipe move multiple times in a row. So, like, Pokemon moves. I can't, like, double slap, which for some reason can go, like, 8 times. I don't know why. We will teach your critter to randomly swipe between 3 and 5 times. It will be extremely powerful and will help you win this competition. Let's add in the code and then talk about what it's doing. Add in the following function. Swipe button pressed. Let's open this. Swipe button pressed. Let's go over there. We go. Cool. Our swipe button press function will take in a parameter. That means when the game calls swipe button pressed, it will also have to include the number of times your critter should perform swipe. The syntax for this is func do that whatever day. Okay, go. Yeah. In our case, the parameter name is number of swipes. We can access number of swipes and do anything to that we could do through a normal variable. Remember how we talked about strings and ints? They are different types. In this case, our parameter type is int. This is a crayon. Again, it's just a fancy name for a whole number. Remember, the call to this function is automatically generated for us. It is a swipe button handler. Just scroll down. Okay. Just for a moment, though, let's peer under the hood and see what that function looks like. If we wanted to pretend that the swipe button had been pressed and we randomly were going to swipe 4 times, swipe button press 4, we pass in the 4 parameter value inside the parentheses. We don't have to do this since the function will automatically get called for us with the parameter between 3 to 5. The second thing we see in the changes is a for loop. For loops allow us to run code multiple times. This is good since our critter will be performing swipe a random number of times. The syntax for a loop is that the counter will count how many times we have run the code. A for loop will execute the code inside the loop once for each number from starting number until ending number inclusive. Each execution, it will update counter to the current number. And in our case, if number of swipes is 3, counter will equal 1, then 2, then 3. Each time execution, it will perform swipe since it's inside the for loop's curly braces. Now that your critter knows how to use swipe multiple times, run the code and see if you can win the 3rd round. Good luck. Shrek used swipe. Shrek used swipe. Shrek used swiped. Leafy. Oh, I did like the least amount of time. Leafy's here. Swipe. Swipe. I'm gonna go to the camera and I'm high. Swipe. Swipe. Dash. Stop dashing. Swipe. I did it. Go on to the next step. Wrong button. Variables store information for later. We use variables to store things like your critter's element and its nickname. Functions are pieces of the code that can be called from other parts of the program. We wrote functions that are automatically called when a specific event happens. Handlers. In this function, we called functions that had already been written for us from libraries. We made functions to set up our critter, set up critter stats, and handle button presses, swipe button pressed, and elemental button pressed. If and else statements allow our code to react to things. We then used one to check if our elemental move would work against our opponent. If it would, we would use it, but if it wouldn't, we used swipe instead. For loops allow code to be repeated. We added a for loop to use to swipe a random number of times in a row. Congratulations, you've done it. You've coded your own critter and won 3 competitions. In the first round, you learned how to call a function from a library. In the second round, you learned how to use if-then-else statements. In the third round, you used a for loop. These basic concepts are the core of all programming languages. Congratulations, you have just begun your journey as a programmer. That's not true for me, by the way. It's true for people that... Whoops. We're cool. It's fine. It's K. You still have time, even more competition. You're going to use everything you have learned to challenge this critter. If you've managed to finish early, continue on to see what you have in store for you. With the opponents asleep. We're going to perform sing. So, sing button, if then else statement. Yeah, okay, this is going to take a little while, and we're already at 20 minutes. I don't want to, like, keep you guys here for, like, 8,000 years. So I'm just going to end the video here. And also, I want you guys to do the loud that noise is the fact that my tablet cord is like really wonky, so it's unplugging and itself whenever I move my leg. But yeah. If you guys want to definitely check this out, I highly recommend it. I highly recommend doing all of the Hour of Code projects. There'll be a link in the doobly-doo to where over here, yeah, there'll be a link in the doobly-doo to where you can check out the Hour of Code projects that I've done so far, as well as much more. So if you want to do this one and do the final thing, then there'll be a link in the doobly-doo to where you can check out this one as well. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!